The most common thing that I have heard from people after 16 years of posting motivational content online is this. They are stuck in life. They get stuck in a rut. Believe it or not, that's the most common thing people have said. You would think it would be depression. You would think it would be something else more severe. But no, getting stuck in a bad season, getting stuck in life is the single most common thing that people face. Remember when you were young, you were full of hopes and dreams. Then you realize life is cruel and you realize life is filled with resistance. And guess what? You eventually get stuck in life. Whatever the reasons may be, that's the most common thing that people write into me about. And that may be where you are right now. And that's not a pleasant place to be, as I said. To be stuck in life, to not know what the future holds, to have lost your gusto, your steam, your fire. That's not a pleasant place to be in because you know you've only got one life to live. But you're stuck. You're stuck once again in another bad season and you want to just be able to keep your fire. You want to be able to keep going. What often happens though is I think people, they lose sight of who they are. They don't really understand who they are. What do I mean by that? What I mean is what your potential is. Believe me, no matter what it is you want to achieve in life, no matter what problem it is you're facing that you need to fix, I don't care how bad the situation is, there are the resources, there are the principles to produce change in that area. Plus, though, there's you. There's your ability to apply those principles, and that's where we get stuck. We get stuck because we lose sight of who we are, which means we lose our confidence. Your confidence in yourself to overcome anything that you're facing. Because I promise you, you can. You find me somebody who says, man, I have never, ran on a treadmill for more than 5 minutes. I could get that person to run on the treadmill for 25 minutes, even if they've never run on a treadmill before. How would I do it? Simple. If I hold a gun to their head or if I hold a gun to a loved one and tell them, if you stop running on that treadmill, I pull the trigger. Now that's an extreme example, but at what point do you think the person on the treadmill would stop running? If they knew their child or loved one or even themselves could be shot if they stopped running, do you think they're going to say after 5 minutes, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Go ahead and kill my kid. Of course they wouldn't say that. Of course not. They would die on that treadmill before they would ever stop running. Which means what? We're all capable of a hell of a lot more than we're putting out. And so life's brought resistance, right? You don't know what the future holds. You're stuck in life. You just can't seem to get ahead. Life has brought its resistance. And you try a little bit to do some things. You try a little bit to solve your problems. You put some effort out there. And if somebody like me comes in and says, you haven't worked hard enough, you're going to say, hell no, dude, I have worked hard enough. I've done everything. No, you haven't scratched the surface yet. And it's not simply about the amount of options you've tried. It's about you. It's about you coming to grips with the fact that you are a hell of a lot more powerful than you realize that you are. And if you could just restore some of that confidence, some of that belief in yourself, then man, guess what? The needle would start moving again. The car would start heading down the road again, and you're not going to be unstuck. We can't steer a car that's parked. We can't steer a car that's stuck somewhere. How do we get you going again? Well, we've got to get you loose up, and the only way to do that is to get you to believe in yourself again. So I'm just here to remind you of who you are, of what you have the potential to do and be. You're far more powerful than you think you are. You may not feel like you could run more than 5 minutes on that treadmill, but you could. If you attach enough value to what it is you're going after, if you attach enough value to your very life, that you're not going to be held back by financial setback, you're not going to be held back by a job loss, you're not going to be held back by a breakup or a divorce, you're not going to be held back by a bad report from the doctor, you're not going to be held back by the depression, by what people say about you, you're not going to be held back by anything because you are far stronger than anything that it is that you're facing. And the more you come to grips with that, and the more that you believe that, and the more that you start to act on that, believe me, you will get unstuck. Can you dig it? Hope you can. This is CJ the Metal Motivator. And remember, in whatever you do, don't suck. Metal up.